fuck, you know I'm serious as shit about a video when I look like this. I don't get in my bed unless I'm like showered. So I actually had to break something out to make this video because I'm like irked about some shit. Alright, so let me explain to you how ENTPs work so you can just stop fucking projectile emotional vomiting all over us. And it's annoying. There's a video, I think by an INTP, where he's talking about, shit, am I talking too loud? Where he's talking about how he deals with being around INFJs, and he's like, I get really quiet so that they can't like project their emotions all over me. Do you have any comprehension how hard that is to deal with? Like, do you have any idea how hard it is for you to emote all over somebody? Like, to be on the receiving end of it, it sucks ass. So, let me explain to you how I work. My grandpa was a badass motherfucker. He was blown up in a tank twice. He was like, he was in World War II. He taught me how to fish. The dude was awesome. He was a welder, but an artist. Like, I couldn't guess his type. Maybe he wasn't super mechanically inclined. He might have been a ISFP. I'm not sure, but this motherfucker was like all like just man. Like, he, as a kid, like, I just idolized how awesome he was. And as he got older, I remember moving to Tucson and I moved from Milwaukee. He grew up in Milwaukee. Well, basically grew up in Milwaukee. I grew up in Milwaukee. And I remember being worried I would never see him again. So I went over to his house and I hung out with him. And I thought, this is the last time I'm going to see him. And I kind of mourned that I would never see my grandfather again. And a couple years later, not even, actually, I think it was about 6 months later, he was on like some bus tour and he came to Tucson. And I went and saw him and his girlfriend. And I left and I cried. I teared up. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to see him again. And every time I saw that man, I thought, I'm not going to see him again. And I like teared up about it, but I savored every minute I had, every time I was with him for, let's see, I moved here in 97. He passed away in 2003, so 6 years. I savored every minute I had with him. The last time I was with him, I remember everything about it. I remember his shirt. I still have his shirt, in fact. I remember all of it. And when he died, I was just fucking thankful as shit that I got to have him for my grandpa. I wasn't hurt. I wasn't sad. That's selfish. Like, that's my selfish side, wishing I had more instead of just appreciating what I had. I was just thankful as fuck that I gave my son his name for my son's middle name. And I remember telling him, like, when I found out that my son was going to be born, I told him that I had decided to make him a great grandpa. And because I didn't think that he was just a grandpa, I thought he was a great grandpa. And I wasn't hurt by him dying. And it was really hard for me to deal with people being like, oh, I'm sorry, when I was like so thankful to have had such an awesome grandfather. And I think you guys don't get this. Like, I make a video about INFJs cheating, and I can qualify and preface it a million times with a propensity for something. And all of our types have propensities for bad things and positive things. I think INFJs really struggle with the negative qualities of their personality type, whereas some other types embrace it, like INTJs or INTP, a lot of the NTs. So I was just trying to talk to somebody about in the comments section about my history with INFJs, and I just keep getting projected on me that I was hurt really badly. You understand, I don't work like you. I don't feel like you. I don't experience like you. If it happened to you, I get that what you're really telling me is that if that happened to me, I would be hurt really badly. But can you please please just let me be me instead of you projecting you onto me. That is so difficult to deal with. That is so difficult. And I think you will find a lot of people complain about INFJs projecting all the fuck over them. And it's not fun. It's not enjoyable. You leave no room for the other person when you do that. Me getting cheated on by an INFJ, I've been cheated on, as I said in another video, by an ISFP, an ISFJ, an INFJ. In all cases, it's not something that caught me off guard or surprised me. Like, there's certain people that will do certain things, and that's just how it is. I didn't feel like, in my situation, like, I just didn't see it. I just don't work like you. Like, I don't see somebody cheating as hurting me. Like, I don't see it like that. I see it as them betraying themselves. I see it as them betraying their values. I see it as them behaving in a cowardly manner. I see them as and I don't even see those things as negative. There's no judgment that comes from that. I don't say this person's awful because they did this thing. I just say, and they got more growing to do. And we all have more growing to do. Like, I have made a lot of mistakes in life, and I'm growing, and I'm on my growth trajectory like all of us. And there were things that I was willing to do at 20 that I wasn't at 30. And there was things I was willing to do at 30 that I'm not at 40. And there are, for fact, things I'm willing to do at 40 that I won't be willing to do at 50. It has nothing to do... I guess I just don't know, like... I don't know how to get you guys to understand, right? And these videos and MBTI, the comment section, the dialogue, the interactions, it's all about trying to understand each other. It's you trying to understand me. It's me trying to explain myself in a way, be it metaphorically or whatever, that you can understand. And it's me trying to explain to you how I experience you so you can better understand yourself and what you're giving to the world. So, my comments on INFJ's cheating is based on 20 years of me and MBTI, and I do think INFJ women are extremely prone to cheating. I think they are the most prone of any type. I think their motivation for it is very different than ESFP. I think ESFPs get lost in the moment and they are too self-absorbed. I don't think that's necessarily the case with an INFJ. I think an INFJ cheats because they're feeling neglected and they feel justified in what they're choosing to do because maybe they've tried to get their partner to pay attention to them or prioritize their needs and it hasn't happened for a long time, and so they feel this need, and instead of addressing it in a healthier way, they choose to cheat. And maybe by cheating, I don't mean just banging somebody else. Maybe they just they start an emotional affair with somebody at a coworker or a friend or some place that they're getting needs met that they can't seem to get met from their partner. So they're going outside of the relationship. They're cheating. They're looking for needs that should be fulfilled by a partner through somebody else. It's a energetic leak in the relationship. And so when I say cheat, I don't just mean that you've actually had intercourse with somebody. I mean, you could kiss somebody. You could be super excited about somebody in your life that gives you these funny feelings, and instead of being like, nope, that's not appropriate, I'm not going to nurture that dynamic, you instead do nurture the dynamic. It could mean a lot of things, but when I talk about cheating, like that's my definition of it. And I'm actually going to stop this video in a minute and I'll make another video on that. But the projecting, like, it's just really hard. All I can ask on behalf of the other 15 types is just please stop doing it. Like, I get that you experience the world in a way that makes you fucking amazing at so many things. Like when you're dealing with somebody that doesn't have a voice, that can't stand up with themselves, you this stuff serves you so well, but it doesn't serve you well with articulate adults that are aware of their feelings and that are trying to authentically communicate and have honest interactions with you. And instead of listening and hearing them, you keep trying to override them with what you would be feeling if you had dealt with that. It's not the same for everybody. And remember, when you're dealing with an NT, you are dealing with a totally different animal, completely, totally, absolutely different animal. So that's what I got to say on this. As far as the people that keep being like, you were hurt, you think this because you were hurt, you're trying to justify or rationalize or the hurt, I don't work like that. That's not how it works. I'm a very self-aware person. I've done a lot of self-work, and I don't see it the way that I don't see it that way. I don't get angry. Angry is a secondary emotion. I take accountability for the things that happen in my life and the people I allow into my life. If somebody hurt me, it's because I let them in my life and I gave them the opportunity to hurt me. It's not because it's not something that happens and then I'm shocked. It's something that happens. I learn what I need to learn from it, but I base people on their individuality, and I take people case by case by case. I don't use type at all. So that's my thoughts on this, and there we go. On behalf of all the other 15 types, like I said, please stop projecting all over us. It is extremely difficult to deal with.